people always ask me, like, what's the difference between animals, the animal soul, and our soul? That's the difference. The animal is completely operating off of, instinct. And it's operating in the way it was designed to operate. Granted, animals change with conditioned experience, with behavior, in their behavior because of conditioning, meaning you can condition an animal to behave or to react a certain way. But animals by default are very instinctual things, and they don't stop and ponder their thoughts or their actions or their behavior. They don't really, not all animals, most animals, they don't do that. They just instinctually operate. So the difference between the animal soul, the animal energy, and ours is that we have the ability to be self-aware, meaning that what I am thinking every day throughout the day is not me. Those are attachments. Those are energy or philosophical or ideological or religious or political attachments. Those are things that we associate with ourselves, meaning that we believe from the ego that that is us. What I'm thinking, what I feel about this is me. No, that is a response to the interaction with that idea, that thought, that thing. It is the reaction. That's just a reaction. That you are not that thinking part. The thinking part is like a flow. It's like a stream of thoughts. They're constantly going through your brain. So in your brain, you've got thoughts constantly flowing. You wake up, you're thinking. You're thinking, you're thinking, you're thinking. I'm thinking of bills. I'm thinking of job. I'm thinking of love. I'm thinking of relationship. I'm thinking of pain and suffering. I'm thinking about all these things, but I am not all these things. These are just representations of my attachments, meaning I feel attached to this romantic situation. Therefore, the thought I have is the reaction to that attachment. So these are representations of attachment, but we are not those things. The part of us that is aware that it is thinking is who we are. It is what's behind the actual thinking. So even though we operate and we behave and we are thinking stuff, that isn't us. That is just the conditioned perspective. That is the ego. That is the persona our soul has chosen to use as a tool in this life to get its information, to get its experiences through as well. The part of me that is genuinely, authentically who I am beneath all of this craziness here you call Fernie, the me that I am is the version of me that doesn't have any attachment. I'm not attached to this home. I'm not attached to New Mexico. I'm not attached to my cats. I'm not attached to this body. I'm not attached to the thoughts I'm using. There's no attachment. It's just present and aware. It knows it exists. It knows that it's present. It knows that it's aware. That's it. It's that simple. And so when you think of the being of God, people think of, oh, God is this old man on a chair somewhere up in heaven, and he's thinking about stuff. No, I ain't thinking about stuff. This is God. We're talking about God. We're not talking about our small, narrow-minded idea of God. That is a small, narrow-minded idea of God. That's a human God. That is not God. God is a representation of the witness of creation. So when you take everyone's I am beneath all of the conditioned personas, and you take all of that away, and you just have the witnessing, the aware part of that, that is the God. That is God. That is the force. That is the source. That is what people are talking about. So it's what's beneath, what's behind, what's there, despite everything else. And so when we are not in these physical bodies, in this physical reality, we exist in that state as well. It's a heavenly state because there are no needs, because you are not thinking about what you lack. You are not thinking about what doesn't exist. You're not thinking about what you want or what you desire. You're just there in that state, that pure state. You can call that connected state love, but it's just consciousness. It's pure consciousness and awareness. It's the godly heavenly state. Now people always ask me, well, Fernie, but like if that's God and if that's who we are beneath all the surface, then who are you talking to when you talk to all these spirits? Is that who they really are in that state as well? No. So this is where it gets complex and complicated, because this is something that people have trouble understanding. When I am connecting to the person that has passed away that you knew in life, I am not connecting directly to that person's pure form, which is that God form. I'm not connected to that because you would not even recognize that. You didn't know that person in that form and in that way in this lifetime. You only knew the persona. You knew the ego. You knew the energy and all of the responses and the conditioned being and the perspective that existed that was your loved one. That is who you knew. So when I connect with them, I'm not connecting to that purest version of them because you would not even, you would not recognize them. You would feel a foreignness to them because you did not know them in this life in that way. So what I connect to is I connect to the code, the persona, the personality that is a part of that soul. That soul still exists, but there's a persona that it inhabited, that it existed in. And so when I pass away, Fernie will still exist as a persona, but when you peel that layer back, then you have the purer version of it. So we all exist in our forms in different levels, but the purest version of who I am is not Fernie. It is beyond the Fernie version or the Fernie perspective.